Alright.
Okay. So this part of the videos we'll be talking about some statistics from here at the house and some guest stories as well as my own stories of dealing with some of the guests. So since 1984, about 23,000 families have stayed at this house, and on average each month there's 150 families that stay here. Families come from all 50 states, and families also come from over 20 countries from across the world. Usually families stay for about 3 days on average, but sometimes they do have to stay for either weeks or even months. And yes, families stay here for a long time. There's 25 rooms that we use for the families. One of the rooms used to be a staff lounge, but we converted it into a room because we realized that there's definitely a need for rooms here. And 8 of the rooms are actually being used for UC Davis sleep studies. So in those 8 rooms, we can't use them. But every day we do strive to make sure that each room is filled. There's definitely a need for them. So when 5 families check out, 5 more families are checking in the same day. I've met so many people here at the Kiwanis family house, and everyone has their own story, and there's just an unlimited amount of stories that I could tell. And each one of them is very inspiring to me. And so I'm going to tell a story about a guest that I knew and another family that was staying here when I first started working here. But there's no one that tells a story better than the actual family. So if you'd like to see videos from families, you can go on the Kiwanis Family House YouTube channel, or you can read about some of them on kiwanisfamilyhouse.org. The next story that I'm going to share is just a small summary of the story. There's a family who I had worked with when I first started working here, and his name is Hector, and I got to meet his father, his mother, and his little sister. And Hector is this 13-year-old boy. It was kind of funny because when he called, he only spoke Spanish, so it really challenged me on my Spanish speaking level. So being here, it's really cool. So you practice your Spanish. But anyways, apart from that, I talked to him on the phone first, and I was able to schedule or reserve a room for him. And then when he actually came a few weeks later to stay, I learned more about him and his story. And he's a 13-year-old boy that is in a wheelchair. He's paralyzed from the waist down. And in 2009, his family was in a pretty bad car accident. His dad was fine. His mother had a fractured clavicle, 7 broken ribs, and a bruised kidney. The sister, who was a baby at the time, had flown out of the car, and she was found 100 feet away. But Hector couldn't move. Well, he was critically injured, and both of the children weren't expected to make it. But Gloria, who is the little sister, actually fully recovered. She had a brain injury, but she's perfectly fine now. And while at the hospital trying to work on Hector, trying to help him get better, he actually got to talk with representatives from Shriners Hospital, which is also right next door to the UC Davis Medical Center. So they were able to schedule a few surgeries for him. So when they come up from Mexico to get surgery on his Christmas breaks and his summer breaks, they stay here. And every time we see the kids, they're really happy to be here, really happy to see us. And I know that they love coming here and staying here because they feel like home. And even though they're gone during Christmas, it's hard to be from their family. They are happy that they're able to be here together. And yeah, they're a great family, and I love seeing them. There's so many other families, so many other stories. But like I said, if you want to read more about his story or many of the other families, do go to kiwanisfamilyhouse.org and check them out because they're all really inspiring.